John Hatz didn't intend his little Waco-inspired home built to become a popular amateur-built airplane. He designed it and built it simply because it was what he wanted to fly. And the story of the Hatz biplane might have ended there if not for a chance encounter at an Iowa fly-in. Born in 1925, John Hatz grew up on a farm near the Wisconsin River. As a boy, he built and flew model airplanes. And while still in high school, he started flying lessons and worked towards his private ticket. He enlisted in the Army, where he learned to splice telephone cables. Back in civilian life, he put that training to work, but soon realized that aviation was the path he wanted to follow. Using his GI Bill benefits, he returned to school to earn his airframe and power plant mechanic certificate and his commercial pilot and instructor pilot ratings. For a time, he ran a small fixed-based operation in Earlville, Illinois. It was not successful, and he moved to Arkansas to work as a crop duster. He soon realized that dusting was not his life's ambition, and he moved back to Wisconsin to work as a mechanic and flight instructor at an FBO near Wausau. During his 11 years at the FBO, he got married and began raising a family. Along the way, bitten by the airplane bug, he wanted an affordable, two-place, easy-to-fly biplane. He thought about building a classic Great Lakes biplane from plans. Built between 1929 and 1936, the Great Lakes 2T was one of the most popular sport planes in its day. But John could not find a set of plans for the 2T, so he set aside the idea while he rebuilt a J3 Cub. While at home, recovering from a work-related injury, he used his free time to create sketches and construct wing ribs for a biplane of his own design. After returning to work, he purchased ordering tubing and built the fuselage frame and wing center section. He bought a small farm east of Wausau, where he planned to build a grass runway and finish his home-built biplane. The biplane project progressed, but was interrupted by another project, a Vili monocoque. That project was also interrupted when in 1963, John was hired as manager of the Merrill Municipal Airport. With neither of his projects flyable, he bought a Piper PA-11 Cub Special to use as a flight trainer. His airport business struggled at first and left him little time or money for airplane projects. But as the business gradually succeeded, he finished the monocoque project. And in early 1966, he turned his attention back to his home-built biplane. He finished it over the next 18 months. The biplane made its first flight in the spring of 1968. Hatz raced to fly the hours needed for FAA approval so he could begin taking the biplane to fly-ins.
He was an EAA member from a very young, knew Paul very well, could pick up the phone and call him at any time, and Paul would take his call. So, yeah, and some of the other guys around the state, Steve Whitman and stuff, they were all, Kreitz brothers were very good friends. They come up every fall hunting I don't think a lot of hunting got done on those hunting trips, but it was knew those guys well also.
His little home built was everything he had hoped it would be. An affordable, two-place, easy-to-fly biplane and lots of fun. At fly-ins around the Midwest, it attracted a lot of attention. People began asking about plan sets for building the biplane. But John only had rough working drawings. He had meant only to build the airplane for himself. He didn't care about drawing or selling. That summer, John flew the biplane to the Antique Aircraft Association fly-in in Ottumwa, Iowa. Parked next to his home built was a de Havilland Gypsy Moth, owned by Dudley Kelly of Versailles, Kentucky. He said he was looking for an affordable two-place, easy-to-fly biplane. "I like yours," he told Hatz. "Where can I get a set of plans?" Hatz told Dudley they could probably work something out, but privately, John dismissed the idea as just fly-in talk. Much to John's surprise, Dudley was determined, and a week later he flew to Merrill and took measurements of Hatz's biplane. With plans available, the design gained popularity, and the Hatz Biplane Association was formed to sell plan sets and foster a community of builders.
When it came time to license the airplane, he had a data plate there that he had stamped, but he had not filled in all the blanks. And the FAA inspector said, "You got to have a model number." And so my dad on the fly looked at it and said, "Well, it has a Continental engine. It's a biplane, hence the CB1." And I don't know which stood for Continental biplane.
Hatz's original design, the Hatz CB1, has inspired a few variants. Its cousins include a slightly larger version, the Hatz Classic. The Kelly D biplane. The newest member of the Hatz family is the Hatz Bantam. Today, the Hatz Biplane Association offers plans for all 4 biplanes in the Hatz family. As for John Hatz, he retired and kept on happily flying his home built, teaching people to fly in his J3 Cub and enjoying life at Haymeadow Airport, the private grass runway on his farm near Merrill. And he undoubtedly felt a little pride in the popularity of his affordable two-place, easy-to-fly biplane. Sadly, John was killed in a car accident in 1989, but his contribution to grassroots aviation lives on.